Welcome back to Stop My Crisis. I'm your host, Vivian Gaspar, and I'm here to help you with your mental state today. How many times have you had a discussion with a friend or any relative? It could be your child, an adult child, or even your parents, and you feel yourself feeling just a little emotionally drained after dealing with them. You almost feel like you want to take a nap afterwards to recover. There's actually a term for that, emotional vampire. Yeah, you heard me right. That's what I mean by feeling drained. And I'm here today to bring an expert to help us learn to deal with that. Remember, you can never control someone else's actions, just how you react to them. Michelle Nagel is our guest today on this very topic, and Michelle Nagel is America's #1 resilience expert. She is an author of the book, Suffering is Optional, Step Out of the Darkness and Into the Light. And Michelle is also, interestingly, a certified Jack Canfield Success Principles trainer. I never knew that was a thing. It's great. She is also the president of Soul Shift, Inc. For the past 15 years, she has been conducting seminars and workshops and providing tools to help people overcome their limiting beliefs and live the life of their dreams. I think so many people need that. Michelle, welcome to the show. And this seems to be an unusually interesting topic that maybe people didn't even know existed. Tell me, what is an emotional vampire?
An emotional vampire is those people in your life that when you spend time with them, they just absolutely suck everything out of you. So that by the time you're done, you feel like you just got to drag yourself out the door again because you have no energy left and they have taken all your joy.
And that is, I think, a very big component for people to remember. Because remember, as much as so many people are in survival mode, that's why they tuned into watching Stop My Crisis, life has to be more about surviving a crisis. It has to be ways of finding to live a little happier, a little bit more joyful.
Right.
But if someone is an emotional vampire in your life, do you necessarily have to cut them out of your life to regain your energy?
Well, it depends on how important that person is to you. And it also depends on what's the circumstance in which you are engaged with them? Like, are you at work or is it a relative? You can't usually cut those out. But, actually when somebody takes all of your energy and all of everything out of you, it lowers your immune system.
Wow.
And it can actually make you ill.
So you're saying what you'd think is just a little of an exhausting experience interacting with someone can actually make you ill?
Yes.
There's actually a physical component to this?
Yeah, it lowers your immune system so that you're more susceptible to illnesses. So if you work around somebody like that, do you find that you're sick more often? That you catch every bug that comes along?
I actually had some people in my life, and unfortunately they were friends that I had been friends with for quite some time. But I gradually pulled myself out of those relationships simply to be a better human being for my family, my children, and to grow as a person. Of course, I'm always looking to ways to improve myself, but I want to know, what is a couple of facts you could provide to me about emotional vampires?
Well, again, an emotional vampire can be anybody, and they, when you allow them to take that away from you so that you end up being ill, then obviously you can't be the kind of person that you want to be. And if you're spending all of your time in triage, like recovering from having spent time with that individual, then that takes the energy that you could use for something else. So if you were trying to, do something creative or something happy, you have to spend that time recharging your own batteries just so you can do that. So sometimes you have to make the determination, as you did, as to whether or not those people are worth keeping in your life. And I know that it sounds really horrible, but if it's a relative and you love them, you can say, "This is what I need from you. Will you please try to think of happy things?"
Wow, that's a great idea. Tell me, that's one idea. What are 5 ways to deal with emotional vampires?
Well, the first one is that you set your boundaries. What you will and what you will not take from them, what will or will not listen to. And then if you want to continue, as I said, you say, "This is what I need from you. Please be happy. please say something positive. And as an example, this works really well, is if somebody comes to you, and my daughter did this once many years ago. She came and she would offload everything, and it was just so draining. And it was affecting my health, and I would think my daughter's coming home, oh no. You know? So when she would come home, then I decided that what I would let her do is she needed to have that validation. She needed somebody to listen to her. That was important. So she would tell me 3 things, and I would count 1, 2, 3, and then I'd go, stop.
Oh.
And I'd say,
boundaries.
now tell me something good. And she said, well, I didn't get run over by a car today. And I'm going, good, I'm glad, thank you. And
That's
now,
creative, actually.
and now she went on, and I said, now go ahead. And she told me 3 more, and I counted 1, 2, 3. And then I said, stop, tell me something good. And I did that consistently with her so that she began to look for good things. And then when she found good things in her day, and I forgot to ask or tell her to stop, then I knew that she was well on her way to being a positive and happy person. So it is possible to correct that in people. And
so
also,
wait, so let me ask you this.
Yes.
Does that mean you're kind of secretly training your emotional vampire who's a close person to you to be less so, or perhaps stop?
oh, absolutely, yes. Because when we think positive things, then we begin to be a much more positive person. When we program ourselves, I'm going to look for positive things, then when you start finding them, then you just find yourself much happier. All the endorphins are coming up, and then you start feeling better about things, and life just looks so much better. And you can train somebody, especially if they're a child, you can train them to look for the good in life.
And when you say child, you don't necessarily mean someone who's only 10 years old or 12 years old. You can even mean an adult child. If your child was 18, 20, 25, 30 years old, you can help them through this. And you're a coach, right? You can help people with this?
Yes.
Oh, good. So
Yes.
this isn't just hear it here once and then there's nothing else to do.
Right.
So is there any other ways left where we're counting on how to deal with an emotional vampire?
Yeah, if you have been with somebody who is negative, and you felt yourself being just kind of drained from them, then it's really important that you recharge your batteries. So I would suggest that you put on the music, turn it up really loud, your favorite songs, sing, dance.
How about that one?
Do something really energetic. Go do a class for, Zumba, however you say it. Zumba. Go do that class. Or something that pumps up your energy again, so that you can avoid becoming sick, and so that you will have the energy that you need to be able to do what you want to do.
You know what just came into my mind?
What?
Remember Tom Cruise in Risky Business, who's dancing across the floor in his underwear and a shirt?
Yes.
Acting crazy by themselves?
Yes.
I think people should do that more often.
Absolutely.
That
I
sounds
agree.
great when you're just acting a little crazy.
Yeah.
Doesn't that actually have some physical benefits?
Yes, it does. Within reason, of course.
Yes.
Don't
Nobody's home, right? It's okay.
Yes, exactly. At home, in your own home, that's fine.
Yeah, just let's keep the exhibitionism to a minimal.
Yes.
But it helps the endorphins. It helps you recover.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm sure you could share tips if someone to give you a call on how you could perhaps transform a child you want to stay close to, or a spouse that just might be a little too negative, and they might disguise it by saying, oh, thank you for letting me vent. And you keep thinking, stop venting already.
Yes, exactly. So if you do the trick with the stop, with the 3 things, and then if it is a spouse and it's important to you to maintain that relationship, then find something that you both enjoy doing together. Maybe you should do the dancing together.
Oh, that sounds like a really fun way to handle it. And I know this might seem trivial to some people, but there has to be more people out there than not who have this kind of a person in their life, and unfortunately a lot of times they can't cut them out. And when you're feeling yourself drained and you can't be as productive, maybe get forms taken care of or things that you have to do, or making money, it's going to be a real problem that leads to more crisis in people's life, because unfortunately there's so many different things that lead to crisis. So Michelle, I think this is a fantastic another segue into a different type of crisis management. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you very much, Vivian.